I've always wanted a tan soft top on my Jeep Wrangler JL, and it's nearly impossible to do, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So I have a premium Tan Twill soft top on my Jeep Wrangler JL, and the reason I swapped was, one, not only did I want a new top, but I also needed a new top. So I originally had the Mopar Black Diamond soft top on my Jeep Wrangler, and due to negligence on my own part, I ended up having every bow separate from the roof because the night before I just laid my roof down, and then the next day I went driving, and once I got to about 50 miles an hour, the whole top flipped back and ripped it. So I now needed a new top because I started getting water intrusion, I had a lot of wind noise, and my top would actually balloon up when everything was closed up. You can actually see where I was pushing up on the roof, and the actual roof was separating from the bows. So I needed a new roof. So I looked into Best Top, I looked into new Mopar soft tops, I looked into used Mopar soft tops, I looked into hard tops, I even looked into just completely selling my Jeep and getting rid of it and starting with something new. But all the while in the back of my mind was a tan soft top, and I had to have one. But it's so hard to do. So I ended up having to order the top deck from a separate location and all the windows from a separate location, and reuse the soft top frame in order to do this. So I got the top deck from Quadratec. It is a Mopar Premium Tan Twill top deck. This one cost me $1,200, and I got the Best Top OE replacement in Premium Tan Twill with the tinted vinyl windows. This cost me about $800. Now I got this on Extreme Terrain instead of the Best Top website because it was a little bit faster to ship. And so all in, I've got $2,000 just in fabric. So in order to do this, you need to have a soft top on your Jeep already, or get a Mopar OEM soft top frame. So in this video, I kind of show you step by step of how to do it. There's no resources anywhere on the internet. I've scoured for instruction manuals, I've looked for installation guides. The closest thing I found was one guy on YouTube who did a quick little video, and honestly, without his video, I wouldn't have been able to figure this out without a couple of his tips that he showed me. So it's pretty difficult to do. It's complicated and it's stressful, but oh my God, is it worth it to do. Starting this install off is my biggest piece of advice for you, and that is to do this on a warm and sunny day if you are at all able to do so. I did it in the middle of December, and it made my life way harder working with really cold and stiff fabric. After that though, we're going to start removing 10 T25 screws to the front of the frame here, and it's kind of sandwiched the fabric between the metal of the frame and this plastic piece. Now once you're able to get this off of the frame, you can then actually get the fabric off the top. And once you do that, you can fold it over, and then you're going to have two cables on either side that are kind of woven between this metal groove here on either side. Now the way you take it out is the way you'll put it right back in when we're done. So you just take that off, and then you can actually fold the top back if you have damaged it the way I did. Otherwise, your top is still going to be attached to the bows, and you'll have to actually slide it off. The next step is removing these cables here that are attached to the quick release for the convertible latch. So once you take those little plastic trim pieces off, you're going to have two T27 screws holding this lever in place. And when I'm done taking them out, I like to put my screws back in just so I don't lose them, because there are lots of T27 screws on this install. So here's another instance where the cold weather really made this harder for me. Folding this vinyl back over the corners here to remove these little extension arms here was difficult for me. But once you get those folded back, you're going to have two more T27 screws holding this assembly together. You got the metal extension arm there holding the cable tie assembly to the metal bow on the very end of the soft top all together. And once you're able to get this off, you can do the same on the other side of the Jeep, and you can then remove the cable that we took apart from the front out through this channel here in the soft top fabric itself. Then once we've done that, you can actually take the top off, or in your instance, slide it off the side. Mine, because it was damaged, was really easy to take off. Then you're going to undo this bow on the very back of the Jeep and drill out the existing rivets, because we need to reuse this metal arm piece on our new top. So if you don't have a rivet gun, you're definitely going to need one for this install. I had to rivet this into place, and there's 5 rivets. I actually had to do a little bit of modifying the plastic piece and this metal bow on the end here to accept a larger rivet, just because the factory size was a little too small. So there's 5 rivets in total you're going to have to do, and I just used small little aluminum rivets, and it held it in place really well, and I was really impressed with the final product. Now this is another kind of unique situation for me. I had to use my channel locks and grab each of those bows, or rather the fabric piece attaching the top to the bow, and slide it out of the channel. Now each of these bows is going to have 4 T27 screws. Some of them are different lengths. Keep them in order. And what I did was, as I took a bow off, I went and took it and put it on the soft top in the order I took them off. They're a little difficult to work, but once you get them started in the channel, they kind of really smoothly slide through, and it makes it not too hard to put in. You don't have to worry about centering them or anything. They kind of self-center when you put them on the Jeep. And this here is the final bow on the very front. Now I used a long piece of wire and ran it through the channel first, and then tied the cable to it, because it's going to be impossible to push that cable through. Now here's where I definitely needed a second person to help me. My dad actually came in and helped me put the top on the Jeep itself. So with all of the cables ran and all the bows attached, I was able to actually slide this up onto the Jeep, and then we'll attach all the bows and the screws that we need. So all you have to do is kind of fold the frame up and slide that fabric back into place like how we took it off. And then we're going to put those 10 T25 screws back into place, but you have to sandwich this plastic over the fabric that we've just put in. It makes it a little bit difficult, especially with it being as cold as it was for me, and because the fabric kind of just wants to do what it wants to do. So some of them you see I have to really force it, keeping that fabric taut, stretching it over the top. That's really going to be one way to do it, is kind of force it in a few of those instances. Once we've done that, I can then start reattaching all of the bows, 4 T27s per bow, 2 per side, all the way down. Now this here for me was the most difficult part of the install, was lining these up and screwing them in. So you've got the extension arms sandwiched between the quick release latch cable assembly, sandwiched between the metal final bow on the rear, the one we had to rivet, and it was so difficult lining these up. Be patient, take your time, and once you get that screwed into place, it will actually go. It's gonna work the way it was designed, so don't force it or bend anything. I was very tempted to get in there and try and torque things. Then we're starting to put things back together the way we found it. This is that quick release latch assembly, again taking those 2 T27s out and putting them back in, and then using those little plastic trim pieces, just pop them all back into the factory holes they had. It's really easy to put them back into place. Make sure you don't lose any of them, otherwise you will have to order Mopar ones, or tape them to this metal bow or something like that. Thankfully none of mine broke when I pulled them out. All I did was grab on either side and pop them, as you could see. Now after this, you're done installing your soft top, at least the deck portion. So I'm just testing out the convertible assembly, and it was good to go. Then one other thing I noticed, and this is probably due in part to the cold and because it was new fabric, it was really difficult to latch for the first time. Lastly, for all of the 2 side windows and the rear windows, you're going to have to reuse the plastic pieces that came with it. So I'm taking these plastic stiffeners out and lining it back into place, line it up and push it in, and then you're going to fold the fabric back over, and you'll have 4 T15 screws that you need to sandwich between the inside stiffener, the fabric, and this outside corner stiffener here. Again, 4 T15s you're going to have to put back into place. And then on the rear window, the only thing we'll reuse is this little arm here that goes across the bottom. I cleaned mine up because it was a little bit dirty. And then it slides right back into the factory channel on the new one. Super simple. The rear window was literally the easiest part of this assembly, except at the end, it was really tight and the hardest part to put on. After that, you're done installing your new soft top. Alrighty, so that was the installation of the tan soft top on my Jeep Wrangler. I have another video on my channel coming soon of just kind of a brief overview of the why, the how, the when of the tan soft top and why it's important to me. This was just the full installation. So if you're interested in hearing me tell you why I wanted it, go check out that video. But if you were able to use this video and it inspired you to put a tan top on your Jeep, or if it helped you install just the new deck on yours, then please consider subscribing and leaving a like. And I hope I inspired you to do the same, and I would love to see more tan tops out there on the road, and maybe I can start the tan top revolution. So if you're like me and you think that tan tops are awesome, let me know. So, thank you.